card in and you pour your drink out and it does a certain amount for you. And so
we definitely don't have those. I think they would do very well here. That's weird.
Business idea, John. Business idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
So that's a thing here because it sounds awful that, you're not giving jobs to people, but at the same time, as far as a business model, there's less people to hire and it saves you money that way.
I mean, if we had robot restaurants, I think, this could be a better situation. The only thing you really need is, let's say, one of the taps gets, it runs out, or one of the lines end up getting clogged. Like, you just need that person kind of in the back to just make sure everything's running okay, and then obviously security of some sort, because somebody might get, no one's policing you, I guess, at that point as to how many drinks you're having. So, yeah.
You are correct.
Huh.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I wonder why Texas hasn't gotten on that, or maybe they haven't. I just haven't heard about it.
Watch, you're going to end up finding out about it this week just because we've talked about it. That's how it happens.
Once I'm done with this, I'm going to Google it and be like, oh, they're everywhere. I just hadn't been to one yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, like you said, making gin ready to drink has kind of been you're a limited market when it comes to just the gin ones. And then also being a woman CEO is not the norm either. What have been some of the challenges you faced when it came to starting and getting into this business?
I think my biggest challenge was just that I knew so little. The lovely thing about that is that when you start something, you don't know what you don't know. So really, it's only in retrospect that I'm like, wow, I really knew nothing.
Right.
But you don't realize that when you get into it. Really, I think that my biggest challenges haven't had anything to do with being a woman.
Good.
I have been very fortunate to have a community here in Louisville that really is supportive of entrepreneurs and startups. I have actually helped form a women in business group for support, just to, talk to other women entrepreneurs. We actually had a meeting last night just for, basically bitch session to complain. But, most of it is not like because of gender. It's usually because of the same issues that everyone has. Like, for me, it might be distribution. For others, it's like, hiring people and, letting go and, delegating. And it's just what anybody else would experience. Now, I do know that a lot of women have said that it's a struggle when it comes to getting to the next stage of your business and doing funding. That is actually where I am in my business right now. We are throughout the state of Kentucky. I'm getting ready to start distribution in Ohio in the middle of January. And here in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be shipping to 41 different states. And so, thank you. And so I'm having some growth, and I've been bootstrapping this myself. And so I just recently announced my first funding round. So I'm in the middle of funding right now, and 2023, I guess, is kind of notorious that people weren't able to get a lot of money, and then especially females are just known to not get as much as men. And then, of course, women of color are definitely even getting even less than that. So I think there's a challenge with that. I have been really lucky that it hasn't been a super big challenge for me so far. I think it helps that I'm already in the market, and I've been doing this now for a little over 2 years, so people know the brand and they see it growing. So people are more inclined to jump on board with something that is a tangible product that they can see versus someone who's saying healthcare or tech, if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense. I get it. Well, tell us more about this group that you have.
Oh, well, I think that I started networking in March, like big time. And I always tell anybody who I meet who's like a new business owner, if I could go back and do things again, I should have been networking earlier. I think I could have saved myself some things if I had been networking earlier. I just didn't that one of the things, you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know that there was such an environment and community of entrepreneurs that help lift each other up. I didn't know that there was like nonprofit agencies who are there to help startups because they want to create jobs in Kentucky so that they're going to help you. I didn't understand there was tax breaks. I didn't understand any of that. I just thought I was starting a business and I was on my own. So, I think that throughout all that networking, there's women's groups. There's national women groups and things, but we didn't have like a group that was just for startup women entrepreneurs. And so me and a couple other women started one. And we've only had 2 meetings. We're really early. But it's good. I appreciate being around other entrepreneurs in general, just because you start realizing that everyone has the same concerns and same troubles, and it makes you feel better that you're not the only one who's swimming in shit, and also it's like a lovely community where people want to help you, so maybe, it's like last night our theme was, name a struggle, one struggle, just you can only do one struggle that you're having in business right now. Well, as everyone went around the room, it was like, all these other, beautiful minds are helping to solve the problem. So you're getting something off your chest, but you're also having a resource of people who say, you know what, I had that same problem and this is how I fixed it. Or, oh, I know somebody who can help you with that. So that's where I love like the networking, where you're just like, okay, there's people who have already, gone down this road. Maybe they're farther down the road than I am who can actually help me with this problem. So yeah, it's good. I like it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it is. I mean, they always say it takes a village, but especially whenever you are trying to create a business, you have to brainstorm and kind of bounce ideas off other people because, like you said, some people may have already gone through that struggle and they can help somebody else out, or somebody is going through it for the first time, but there's, everybody else has already gone through it. And so you all get to help each other, and that's beautiful.
It really is. And there's a thing that's been said, and it's been said to me numerous times, and I really understand it now, where they say, being an entrepreneur is really lonely. And I think part of that loneliness is, none of my family are entrepreneurs. I've started a business. None of my friends have started a business. They don't understand it, and you don't want to bore people with things.
Right.
And so it's nice to have other people who kind of understand, what's keeping you up at night, or the self-doubt, or, the frustrations, or even the wins and the fun stuff that's happened. It's nice to have a community of people who kind of understand where you are. So I have found that I've met just so many people, it's really changed my life, honestly. I went from being a doctor where I only really knew medical people, and now I have this whole community of startup entrepreneurial people I'm hanging out with. So, and I haven't mentioned this, but I actually quit my private practice in May.
Oh.
So, yeah, I know. Craziness. So I'm still it is congratulations. Something had to give,
Exactly,
it's kind of one of those things. I'd like to think that I can do it all, but I can't do it all and not take time away from something. And I didn't want to take time away from my children. I thought if I'm going to have regrets about anything, it's going to be not being there, with my kids. So I quit my private practice in May. I'm still practicing medicine because I'm just not financially or probably emotionally ready to give it up 100%. So I'm working about 7 or 8 shifts a month. I work about two shifts a week. And then it just freed up a lot more time for me to like talk to you on a random, what's today, Tuesday?
Right.
I would never be able to talk to you on a Tuesday at 2:00. I'd be seeing patients. So, that's been awesome. So that felt like a big, big leap for me. And I'm sure that there are some people in the medical community who think I've come going through a midlife crisis. And then there's a lot of other people who have just been super supportive and said, go for it, girl, so.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And I imagine, the entrepreneurs are probably more fun to hang out with than the medical people.
I don't know. Medical people get pretty crazy. People wouldn't think it, but
Oh,
yeah,
I've
they're pretty
heard.
wild.
I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, medical people can be fun, but it's just different. It's just a different. I feel like with medical people, it's more work hard, play hard. I feel like with
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, it's just you're on your own schedule, and there is really something lovely about having freedom of your own schedule.
Right. Now, I mean, I guess the other side of that is you, like you said, it keeps you up at night. Do you mentally try to shut off at some point, or do you kind of put it on pause, have dinner, wind down with the kids, and then go back to it? Or how do you try to, I guess, juggle, the life of being a mom, not missing things, but then also running your own business?
Oh my gosh, I'm still working on that. I'm not really good
Mm.
at that. I actually hired a business coach to kind of help me with that, honestly.
That's
Um,
cool.
I am trying to get better at that. It's hard. Just
Yeah.
my brain is kind of wired of like, go until you get it done. But the truth of the matter is it's never done.
Mhm.
So I have to consciously say, I'm going to leave my phone in the car so I can watch my kid's soccer game without being distracted or try to go on Instagram or answer emails or do all the things. So I think it's just a really conscious thing and a constant thing I have to talk to myself about.
No, that makes sense. And then also, if you have an Apple Watch or a Google Watch, you gotta turn that thing off too. So that way, you're not just constantly checking your alerts or
Yes,
whatever.
no, and it's like anything, I mean, I can, people are addicted to their phones and I am no exception. Like
Yeah.
I am very much addicted to my phone. I'm always on it. I'm always checking emails or answering emails or researching or calling someone or doing Instagram or doing all the things.
Mhm.
So, I think that, there has to be balance like anything, leave it in the other
Right.
room, leave the phone in the other room, so I can watch a movie with the kids and my kids, honestly, they'll say something to me. They'll be like, you're on your
Good.
phone. Unless my kids are keeping me accountable. I thought we were watching a movie. Why are you on your phone? I'm like, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kids aside, business aside, how do you kind of make time for yourself?
Ooh,
Or I guess do
I'm
you?
not very good about that. I will tell you, I try to, I work out. That's kind of my
There you go.
mental, release. And so I try to work out, 4 to 5 days a week. And that's kind of my time where the phone is away and I'm, you know, it's my way of not going crazy. So I would say that's probably my biggest self-care thing. But, yeah, I wouldn't say there's a ton more, but I'm building a business. And honestly, I'll tell you, John, I love it. I mean, it really is fun. I mean, and I hope I'm not coming off like it's a negative because I have found a new side of me that I didn't even know existed. And that's
That's
why I've been
awesome.
willing to give up part of my medical career because I'm loving it. I'm loving what I'm learning. I'm
Yeah.
loving who I'm meeting. I just, I like doing it. So it's like, yes, that may have not been self-care to do a meeting with all these other women entrepreneurs, but I loved it. And I felt like it
Yeah.
was self-care because we were complaining and brainstorming and it was all about business, but it felt very healthy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I see why it's addictive. When like people start a business and then they sell it and then they start something again. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have understood that until I went through this process, but there is something very satisfying about having a vision and watching it come to fruition. It really is. It's cool.
Yeah, without a
And
doubt. I would
go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I have to say this to myself all the time. Like, I don't know how this is going to end. Like, we are moving in a
Right.
really great direction, but, I realize I could crash and burn. And so I have
Mhm.
to remind myself that that's okay. If that's what happens, I have no regrets because I did